Does using more tea bags produce a better tea? In this episode, we take a suggestion from one of our viewers to use 5 tea bags to see if it makes a better cup of tea. When we compare the tea prepared with tea bags and tea prepared with loose leaf tea, we find that the tea bag produces very little flavor. Some people have suggested a solution to this problem, and that is to use more tea bags. We wanted to test out a cup of tea brewed with 5 tea bags to see if it matches the complexity of loose leaf green tea. For this experiment, I used 5 green tea bags I got from a grocery store and brewed them alongside the Kyushu teapot. As you can see, the color of the tea is super dark, but it's this unappealing brown color. High quality green tea could be either a yellow or green color, but it really shouldn't be an orange or a brown color like this. This brown color comes from the very low quality leaves used in the tea bags. While premium loose leaf Japanese green tea is made from the youngest sprouts of the tea plant, these lower quality leaves are often made from older, less nutrient dense leaves or from later harvests. As a result, you get this less appealing color and taste. When it comes to the flavors of the two teas, the tea prepared in the Kyushu teapot is smooth and sweet. There are notes of the steamed edamame and cantaloupe melon, which is typical for a tea like this. If I were to add more leaves to this pot of tea, the flavor would simply become richer rather than more bitter. Moving on to the tea prepared with the 5 tea bags, I was beginning to have second thoughts. For the sake of the experiment, I took a deep breath and tried a sip of this tea. Immediately, I felt a strong bitterness on my tongue, and it dried out my entire palate with this strong, dusty flavor. As I expected, adding more tea bags didn't add more depth or complexity to the tea. It just made it more bitter. If you find that you really do love the flavor of your tea bag tea, I would recommend trying this because it actually does make the flavor of the tea much more intense, but it's really not something that I can enjoy. It appears that the quantity of the tea is not the important factor, but rather the quality. When tea is mass produced like this, they really don't even come close to matching the taste of premium loose leaf tea. The small tea farmers that we've met with really work hard to capture a specific spectrum of flavor in their teas. Some even experiment by blending together different tea cultivars and meticulously taste test the tea until they find the perfect ratio. This type of experimentation and craftsmanship is only really possible in small batches, so you will not find it in tea bags. Tea bags and other mass-produced teas are designed to be uniform in flavor, and they are designed to infuse quickly into water. They also need to be extremely cheap to manufacture so they can be sold for a few cents each. As a result, larger tea companies will produce big quantities of cheap tea leaves and grind them up into tea bags. These small leaves infuse very quickly into water and create a murky brown color, and the taste becomes dominated by this flat, bitter taste. When we say flat, we mean that the taste really only goes in one direction. You get a consistent flavor throughout the drinking of the tea, and usually that flavor is a bad one. Quality loose leaf tea is much more nuanced. A single tea can begin with a light citrusy astringency, then drift into a steamed vegetable sweetness, and end in a savory finish. The tea can even evolve from sip to sip, beginning with one unique flavor profile and ending in an entirely different direction. When a tea producer is working with just a few hundred kilos of tea or less, they are able to carefully curate a tasting experience like this. When the tea is mass-produced in larger quantities, it becomes more difficult to find nuance. There are also some problems with the tea bag itself. Even if you were to use higher quality leaves in a tea bag, they would be cramped inside and not able to expand and fully release their flavor into the water. The tea bag itself also contains things like paper, plastic, and glue that can really affect the tea. If you must use a tea bag, we recommend that you actually make your own with your favorite loose leaf tea. These silk tea bags are what we occasionally use when we're traveling around Japan and sourcing tea. You can pack them with premium loose leaf to prepare cups of tea on the go without a teapot or strainer. Because the tea bags are made from silk instead of paper or plastic, the flavor is less affected by the tea bag itself. They are also built to expand, so you get a little more space than a typical tea bag. Of course, the best solution is to just prepare loose leaf tea in a teapot. If you don't have a teapot at home, it's better to just invest in quality tea and use whatever container you have to brew the leaves. You can always filter the leaves out later by pouring them through a strainer. A French press can also work well if you have one at home. I hope you have all enjoyed this tea experiment and this short lesson on green tea. As you can see, even though quantity matters when it comes to tea, quality is far more important. If you are interested in learning more about tea, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos. If you have any questions or suggestions for future topics you would like us to cover, please be sure to leave those in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you next time.